Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We will try to, stop screwing up because, it's more fun when we not screw up. Maybe it's funnier when we do screw up. But hey, if I'm going to screw up, I'd rather not screw up alone. So let me bring out other people that can screw up with me. And in that case, make it even more interesting. My players. Hey players, how you doing? That was just very weird. It's just one of those games. Just started kind of weird, but we'll fix it in post. Hi everyone. Hope everyone's doing fine on this fine evening. We are going to play some Lord of the Rings here. But before we do, I would like you to please introduce yourself. Tell these fine people watching us who you are and which character you are playing tonight. And we will begin tonight with Ashley.
Hey everybody, I'm Ashley, Minnesota Muse 99 on Twitter, and I am playing for you Aelwyn Silversteel. She is a classic elf with, blue eyes and pale blonde hair, done up with some braids, wearing elvish knotwork on her clothes, no armor, because she's about archery and dexterity. Very excited to be here.
Thanks so much for being here. And I screwed up again. I was reading the wrong production sheet. Can we start over? Can we just completely start over?
Wait, are we playing a different game?
Yeah, actually, we're supposed to be playing Witcher tonight. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay. Let me just roll up a character.
It was supposed to be Josh that was first tonight in the introduction. Let me set up so now he's in the back going, oh no.
I'm not doing this again.
And he's like, it's not in the right order.
I've already gone.
Let's go with Josh. Let's go, Josh. Hey, Josh. How you doing?
We can change it in post. It's fine. Hello, right. I'm Josh, and I will be playing Carlem, son of Throic, who is a champion dwarf of Durin folk, who is 1 year away from retirement, about 8 months away from retirement.
Are we taking bets on whether or not he makes it?
Maybe, under the table. Shh.
In the movie, it's never works out. The guy comes out and says, hey, I'm 1 year away from retirement, and then terrible things happen. So let's hope nothing terrible happens to Colin. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, Josh. Super appreciate you. Arya.
Hello, everybody. I'm Arya Galaxy. You may have heard my real name is Rachel, so we'll sometimes call me that. And I'm playing Lan Hardybow, the hot-headed treasure hunter of the group. And super excited to see everyone but her ex, who works at the Prancing Pony.
And who I forgot was Kel's sister the other day, so I made it kind of
yes.
weird.
So now there's two barmaids.
There's multiple barmaids, but she is one of them.
She's one of them. Have you dated all of them?
Who broke up with who? We don't know yet. No. I guess we'll find out.
Probably dated all of them in your time. Saucy.
Super all excited to play. Let's fix it in post. It'll be fine.
Let's fix it in post. We're going to fix everything in post. I'll fix my face in post. Hey, thanks so much, all of you. Alex, you are the last man standing here. Don't let me down.
Thank you. I'm Alex. I'm playing Faron. He is a Ranger of the North and a Warden. He very tall, big, black beard, uses a sword and bow, and excited to see what happens tonight.
I'm excited to see what happens tonight, too. I have no clue. We'll see what happens. If the beginnings of this game are any indication, it's going to be wild and woolly. Thanks so much, all of you. I had a good time last week. I look forward to getting into it this week again and finding out exactly what this whole curse thing is about. A couple more shout-outs before we get going, and then we will dive right into it. I'm Bleakseason, the Bleakseason on all the socials. My producer tonight, as with all nights, is Andy. Usually when something's broken, it's my fault, even though I may blame Andy, but it's usually my fault. Andy's doing a superb job back there, pulling the levers, pushing the buttons, putting the coal in the stove to create the steam to make this entire thing work. So thank you very much, Andy. Our music is by Tabletop Audio, and check out their website for all your musical needs. Check out their Patreon. Also, a couple of bucks gets you a lot of cool music from them. The game we are playing tonight, the Lord of the Rings role-playing game for 5e, is by Free League Publishing. It's a 5e conversion of their One Ring game. It's absolutely beautiful. Recommend it, and you'll see it in here in action very shortly. I would also like to give a shout out to all our friends in Guild Superior, people who hang out with us in our games, in our chat. If you want to become one of them, super easy. Follow the link, plug yourself in, and come post, coffee memes with us. That's what keeps us going. Shout out also to DM Dave, who is the other member of the production team, who is not in this thing tonight, but is probably hiding out in the chat right now, hurling insults at me. As for tonight, I will be using a couple of maps by Solution Maps, a good friend of ours, so check out that Patreon also. And finally, if you want to help our players, especially that old man, Faron, who is about to go on retirement, if you want to help him get to retirement, you can always throw some bits at them. 100 bits buys an advantage for the player of your choice, and they can always use them. They can always use them. You can keep them from game to game, by the way. They don't disappear. So if you have some from last game,
let's be real though. Carlum is not going to retire, but you can save him from an untimely death.
You can make sure that he helps other people survive, basically. But yeah, he's definitely going down. Definitely. Ain't no two ways about it. All right, let's get this game underway. A quick recap from last week. The lot of you are Bree Wardens. You live in Bree. For some of you, it's where you were born. For some of you, it is the home you have decided to make for yourself, at least for now, because some of you are going to live for a very long time compared to others. And I'm not just talking about the fact that Calrum's going to die. But you have decided to stay in Bree and help the people in the area. So you work as Bree Wardens, keeping the peace, escorting people on the roads, things of that nature. And people of the city kind of look up to you, and you are an important members of the community. You had several years ago a member of the team named Cal Half Moon. Cal ran into some troubles in the last few years that he was around, and all for various reasons. You all have your own personal feelings about him, but he ended up disappearing, going away, being gone for several years. And last game, he returned very unexpectedly. Well, maybe not so unexpectedly, because the game is called The Curse of Kel, but fairly unexpectedly for your characters. He returned, and in the evening, after taking care of a couple of problems that were going on around town, you headed to the Prancing Pony for your evening meal and ran into Kel, who has returned from his adventures. Apparently very successful, money, nice clothes, nice hair, the whole 9 yards, wanting to sort of make up for his past behavior to everyone. Some of you are very happy to see him. Some of you are very kind of suspicious and sort of conflicted about how you feel about his return. But during the evening, at some point after he had chatted with you a little bit, he left the bar. He was followed by a group of suspicious-looking strangers that you'd been looking for during the day in town. And when you went outside to see what that was all about, you found Kel in the process of being assassinated by a fairly strange and disturbing fellow with a mask of steel with red fangs. You proceeded to get into a little bit of a scuffle with that guy and the other four that were there, apparently as backup for him. You killed a number of them, you captured a couple, he managed to escape, but now Kel lies wounded, hit by a cursed weapon that will eventually undo him. I think it was Aelwind who knew about these weapons and knew that the only way to ensure that he can survive the wound is to find that weapon eventually and melt it down and destroy it. That's how you lift that particular sort of curse that he's got on him for that. But then, as he was lying there in pain, gasping, trying to sort of cling to Calrum, he said that he had returned because he had done something wrong, he had made a mistake, and there was a curse that was following him, and that he was here to meet someone who could potentially help him lift this curse that he was under. This person he named was someone that some of you knew, and we'll get into that here momentarily. But so in the next few moments, that followed that, and that's where we ended. And the next few moments that followed that, you moved Kel inside the inn, along with the help of his sister, much to Lan's chagrin. You moved him to one of the empty rooms so that he would be more comfortable. Those of you who have medical knowledge tried to help him out, but the wound that he's got because of the weapon that makes it impossible to sort of heal it. So he's not dying, but he is in pain. He is very weak, and you know that you'll soon have to do something about that. But he's been put into the bed. His sister has been caring for him along with some of you, wiping his brow down, whatnot, trying to get him a little bit of water, things of that nature. And the rest of you now find yourselves in the room with him. And I will say we will start with Kel and his sister being on the bed, sort of away, and a lot of you being a little bit further away so that you can maybe have a little discussion amongst yourselves and sort of reconnect all the different dots that sort of came up last time and kind of refresh your minds about what happened and so on and so forth. And then we'll take it from there. So yes.
Can you refresh my memory? Like the very last thing that happened was a name came up in the Forsaken Inn, and
Yes.
an elf named Ariandel Erythriel was mentioned, but I don't remember how
So-
they were mentioned.
Yeah, so it was him,
Okay.
Kel, who mentioned the name Arianth Merendiel, who is the elf that he was supposed to meet at the Forsaken Inn
Okay.
in order to talk about how he could get rid of this curse that he had. You don't know the details about the curse and all that yet. You
Okay.
can probably question him about that.
But he
Arianth
didn't
Merendiel.
meet her yet.
No, he had
was
not met her yet.
Planning on meeting her. Okay, cool.
You had heard of her a little bit before when you were dealing with Merrick, the dwarven smith, and you had helped him earlier, and he had been approached by a strange elf woman that he called Arianth, and you were supposed to meet her, but she was supposed to come back to pay him for some things she wanted him to build, but she never came back, though he did get the money. And so you kind of suspect that it was just, she didn't really want the thing. She was sort of trying to help him out, and she did straighten him out as he's been kind of able to work again and gotten out of the funk that he was in. But she never came back. You were hoping to meet her because you had heard her name before, you knew her from before, Aelwyn. But it never occurred, but now the name has popped up again.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. So let's take it to, you're in one of the bigger rooms on the second floor of the Prancing Pony. There's a big white bed that Kel is lying in. He's kind of a little delirious. His sister's with him, running a cloth of cold water over his face and sort of trying to make him comfortable. There's just a couple candles burning in here and a bit of fire in the fireplace. So the room is kind of dark and very cozy and kind of warm because of this fireplace that's burning there. Outside, you can hear the rest of the town, the other wardens that came out who are taking care of the bodies and the prisoners that you managed to get. And there's patrols going around trying to look for this one guy that disappeared, the guy with the face mask that disappeared. So you can sort of hear a little bit of hubbub and activity outside. Downstairs, it's very quiet, which is rare for the Prancing Pony, but Barnabas has kind of kicked everybody out following sort of what's happened. And it's very quiet downstairs, just a few people and some extra wardens. And so you are in the room together and you're kind of away in a quiet corner so you can speak amongst yourselves if you want here.
Aelwind is standing there trying to keep an eye on what all the stuff is happening, but she is holding her side, and you can see that there is a fair amount of blood seeping into her shirt as she's trying to play off that she isn't that badly wounded.
Is that just a flesh wound, or do you need more medical aid?
No, I'm fine. I've had worse.
What about
drip?
This is fine. Guts everywhere. What about you, Lan and Faron? How are you both holding up?
You would see Lan kind of in the corner, propping her feet up and like shakily lighting a pipe. And yes, I have proficiency because I have pipeweed lore, which is a thing in this game, for those of you wondering. So she's shakily like lighting up a pipe, and she does seem quite shaken. I think in the many years you guys have been wardens together, she's had the occasional scrap, but never like something like that. So I think that she is very shaken, and although she's not very injured, has just a few cuts and bruises. She's kind of spacing out a bit, so when you say her name, she kind of like snaps to, and she's like, "What? Sorry, what do we need? Where do we go?"
Are you okay? Are you injured?
I'm I'm fine. I don't know if I'm okay. I don't puff on the pipe. You want some?
There's terrible things for your lungs. I'm fine, thank you.
Nah.
I found the stairs hard enough as it was.
I want to live another, 200 years, so I better not.
I slowly pass the pipe to Faron.
Faron would take a little bit and
That's
then
what I thought.
pass it back. Faron would be like kind of standing, like I'm assuming there's a window or something, like looking onto the street. Yeah, so he'd be by the window, kind of like keeping an eye out, like as far as activity goes for that. He's pretty well off. A couple minor scrapes, bumps, but nothing big from earlier. So
All right, so I think our best bet is to try to track down the woman that Kel was supposed to meet, that Ariandel. She was supposed to be at the Forsaken Inn. She might have some information about how to break this curse. Otherwise, we can go after that man in the mask and destroy the blade, which should also help us.
Well, you said that was what we needed to do in order to cure Kel, right?
That is my understanding.
do we want to split
I haven't
up?
seen one of these blades in person, but I have heard about something similar, and that was the way that they cured someone.
Okay. I don't know if this is going to take us out of the town, Faron. I don't think splitting up will be a good idea. Although if we're investigating in the town, we could do that.
Yeah.
I believe the Forsaken Inn is the east road from Bree.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure we did a roll for it last time, but let's do another one here just to see who knows what about the inn. So you can go ahead and make, let's say, do an old lore roll. Anyone who wants to. I'll give Faron an advantage on that, since you it is part of the lands that you are warden of, so you might know more.
Needed that because first one was a 10, second one was a 20. So nat 22. So
All right. So yep.
I was just going to say I rolled a 9, so nope.
Only 13 here.
I can roll, but with that nat 20, I don't think I'll do much better.
Yeah, I think
I got a 17.
Okay. So if you look at the map that I've put on the Owlbear, you would be, this is a map, as I said, that Faron has in game. So you could unroll it, and it's kind of like your personal map that you've been drawing of the area in the time that you've been here. So whenever you go places and encounter things, you kind of fill it out, and it's your own personal little sort of look at the area. So you are here in Bree currently, down the east road towards the east, a little past Weathertop. over here there is a place called the Forsaken Inn, and you know that it's kind of a little rundown place, and it's frequented by people of the worst kind. It's really sort of I think last time I described it in the immortal words of Star Wars as a hive of scum and villainy, and that's really what it is. Like, the people who hang out there are not very savory customers, very savory people. So it's kind of a dangerous place, kind of a strange place to go and meet someone. But that's what Kel said.
Do I know how far away it is?
About 5 days on foot.
5 days on foot. Okay. So yeah, I'd be like, yeah. Essentially, if you're saying that 5 days away, it's not going to be a spot we want to spend a lot of time in. So I think if we're going to head there, should do it sooner.
Would it be faster, like on horses or something? Does the warden have, like, do we have a stable or?
You don't really have your most of the stuff you do on foot around here. You would have horses if like you were going sort of long distances and stuff, but you're very local, so there's never really any need for horses. Plus the hostler in town is that John Fernie guy who's kind of like a bit of the crime boss of the city, so he's kind of a very louche character. So,
and he probably doesn't like us very much.
Yeah. So, but
Carlum's not too confident on horses either. Short, stumpy legs trying to get to the rather large horses. I need one of those sort of smaller ponies, but they don't do them.
As you're discussing this, you'll feel a tap on your shoulder, Lan, and it's Holly, and she's like, I'm sorry, he would like to speak to you, all of you. I'm sorry for disturbing you, but he sort of regained a little bit of strength, and he wants to talk to you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Holly. And she holds her like eye line for like 2 or 3 seconds too long, like of eye contact, and then she like gets up and walks over to Kel's bed.
You can definitely tell that Holly's very upset by what's happened and is very concerned for her brother. Yeah. And so even when you kind of hold her eyes, like her mind's not there, like she's not at all thinking about that. She's very distant, but she says, I'll go downstairs and I'll get something to drink for everyone while you talk. I'll be right back then. She will leave the room, and when you approach the bed, Kel is there, and you can see he's kind of trying to force a smile. He's very sweaty, looking very pale. His super nice hair from earlier is all very mussed up and filled with mud because he was lying in the mud when you found him. It's just caked with dried mud now, and the wound in his stomach just looks very bad. Like the edges of it are kind of dark gray, and you can see little like dark veins that are kind of emanating out of it, and it looks like a badly infected wound sort of thing, even though it just occurred, so you wouldn't think that it would be sort of infected. Holly's been cleaning it and has kind of tried to keep it, tried to do what she could with it, but it's looking pretty nasty.
Hell, you son of a bitch, what have you gotten yourself into?
Oh, you know me, I'm always making friends wherever I go.
Yeah, but they don't seem real friendly with this whole stabby part.
No, I guess not. Did you get him? Did you get him, the one who attacked me?
No, I think he got away.
He'll be back. He's not the kind to leave a job unfinished. Are all of you okay? Did anyone get badly injured?
I think Lan looks at Aelwyn but doesn't out her.
Well, your friend stabbed me as well, but I don't think I'm as bad as this. It just kind of gestures to the situation that is happening.
I hope not. I'm terribly sorry to have brought this on you. I thought I'd have more time, and I didn't think they were this close to me. They must have been
What?
right on my trail.
Why do they want to kill you?
You should ask why don't they want to kill me. I think that would probably be a shorter answer. I shouldn't make myself laugh.
Well, I mean, you are very vexing, but what did you do?
I am greedy.
Okay, well, why don't you start by telling us who these people are? I mean, we're really in the dark here, man.
Yes, I guess that would be best. The one who attacked me, the one with the mask, is called Bane Aradoc. He's a hardened killer. He works for a man called Etheron Bladebreaker from further south. Etheron is part of a group of, well, treasure hunters, I guess. Though that's a bit of a charitable term for what they do. When I traveled south, I needed money, and I quickly fell in with a group of men who made a living off of hunting treasure in old ruins and abandoned sites and things of that nature. And, well, let's call it what it was, tomb robbing. In any case, I told myself I was just doing it long enough to get myself back on my feet, but it just seemed like the more gold and coin and the more I found, the more I wanted, the more I needed it. It was like I had dragon sickness or something. I just couldn't stop. I just constantly wanted more and more, and everyone seemed to be feeling it. We were taking on bigger and more dangerous jobs all the time, and at one point, a few months ago, we raided a old ruined tower that's said to have once belonged to an elf sorcerer in ages past. We found a lot of treasure there, more than we'd ever found before. It would have been enough for us to just retire, but even though there was so much, we were ready to go back out again within a week. But in that trove, there was a particular item, a circlet, like someone would wear around their head. It wasn't beautiful or particularly rich looking, but there was something about it that just called out to you, called out to me, called out to everyone. There was something dark about it, but something incredibly alluring. We all wanted it, but as the leader of the expedition, Etheron kept it for himself. But over the weeks that followed, it was strange. It's like he started becoming extremely paranoid and distrustful of everyone. But everyone was becoming very paranoid about him and very distrustful of him, and the men began turning on him. Men were assassinated, and fights were erupting all the time, and it really felt like he was barely holding on to the group. A little time after that, an elven woman came. She was here to get the circlet. She tried to get it from Etheron. There was a big fight. In the fight, I saw my chance. I grabbed the circlet and I got out of there. I took it with me and I left town. I disappeared. But I could tell the longer I had this thing on me, the more I could feel it digging into me, and I could feel myself becoming distrustful of everyone and being paranoid of everything and everyone, and just it really made me feel like I used to feel before I left here. And I hated that. And I knew I didn't want to go through that again. I knew I wanted to come back and find you and make amends and be friends again, but this item was cursed and it was afflicting me. And I reached out. I tried to find this elven woman, hopefully, hoping she'd survived and that she could help me with this. I eventually did manage to get in touch with her, but by that point I'd hidden the circlet, and so she gave me a rendezvous. She said she could help me if I brought her the circlet, and that's when she gave me the rendezvous. I came here hoping you'd want to come with me, or at least some of you would want to come with me. Apparently this place, this inn, is fairly dodgy spot. This man that's after me, Bane, Etheron sent him. They want the circlet, but I've hidden it because I figured if I kept it on me, it would just be too easy for them to get it. The men that work with Bane, the ones that fought you earlier, they're a group called the Headless Cross. Etheron himself's not part of Headless Cross. He's not that high up on the food chain, but he works for them indirectly, and they're very scary. They're a very large, very shadowy, very powerful organization. Their tendrils are just extending everywhere. It's very scary. But this Bane Adarok works for them. He's very dangerous. Credible reputation. I have no doubt he'll come back to finish the job once he figures out that I haven't died yet. But that's why I need you to go and make contact with the elf and find out how this curse can be broken. I'll tell you where the circlet is, and you can take it to her. I would trust all of you enough to think that you'll be able to resist it, but I would certainly be careful with it. You might want to hide it yourself somewhere that you can get it easily if you don't want it on your person.
Were you able to figure out a way to lessen the effects of the circlet? If it wasn't on you, if it was wrapped in something?
If it wasn't on me, it was easier. I found that what worked best was also what was most difficult to do, which was to steel myself against it by remembering good people, remembering good times, remembering moments of trust, moments of fellowship, moments of friendship. Those would buy me surcease for a while. I would be able to push away the darkness that was invading my mind and my heart and my soul because of this thing. But those moments eventually became few and far between, and well, I realized how much I'd led myself down this dark path with what I did before I left. If the four of you help each other and are close to each other and strengthen each other, I believe you would be able to, at least for the amount of time it would take you to travel to see Arianth, be safe from it. But I would certainly caution you. It is powerful and it is dark magic.
Bloody idiot, aren't you, lad?
I am.
Bloody idiot. Get yourself into some trouble with the Headless Cross, and now you come to us to ask us to bail you out. If you would just come to us with this before, my answer would have been no. My primary concern is that wound and making sure that that gets healed. But if going to get this circlet is going to aid us in that, then I suppose we have no choice, do we?
I get your anger, and I accept it. You're absolutely right. I messed up. I know it. But you ask me how I could come back and seek your help. Who else would I go to? Who else has ever been a friend of mine? Who else has ever shared fellowship with me but the four of you?
Who else has been gullible enough to give you chance after chance after chance after all of the things that you've done?
This is the first time I've ever heard him admit that he was at fault, however.
This is true.
I swear I'm not the same as I was. Before all this happened, I was the old Kel again. I was carefree, and this insatiable greed was just impossible to. It was this gigantic hole I could never fill, no matter how much I put in it. And
I mean, it would make sense that you'd want to come home, Kel. I mean, this is where your family is. This is where we are. I wish you would have told us the whole story before you got stabbied a lot. But I understand why you didn't.
add it to my growing list of mistakes.
Where is the circlet?
Lan knows where it is.
I do?
I
Where?
put it in the same place where your father kept his special things.
Then I do know. But speaking of my father, Kel, I have to ask. And, you know, obviously I'm not accusing you of anything, but did you know about these headless guys before you left? Because I swear I'd seen them before when my father was still around.
No, I'd never heard of them until I arrived in Tharbad. And even then, it was some time before their name was even mentioned by the group I was at. It was like, to mention it was to invite their presence and their wrath or something like that. And people spoke of it only in hushed voices.
Okay. Well, I
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure, because you know you're my buddy, and I don't know what I'd do if you knew where my dad was all along or something.
I swear I don't.
Crazy.
I swear I have no clue. But if he was mixed in with these Headless Cross guys,
I think you might have been. Well,
They're not a group that, from what I've heard, they're not a group that you really want to be mixing yourself in with.
can I count on you then? If not for me, do it for Bree, because they will return, and next time they might hurt someone other than me. Or
yeah. No.
Aelwind. Sorry.
Yes.
Go ahead, boss man.
Sorry. Do you know how long this infection, how long Kale's got? Rough estimation, if you don't exactly know.
Well, DM, what do I know?
what do you know? You can do a I would say it's an old lore, not a medicine, because it's more about knowing like the stories about these things more than.
Sure, I would like to roll with the advantage we get at the start of the game.
Perfect. Go for it.
Nat 20.
Nice.
So for
Amazing.
25.
So you know that it really depends on the person and their strength, and not so much the strength of their body, but the strength of their will and their how resolute they are, and so on and so forth. And
He's
so you would
real stubborn.
He is, but so because he is, you would say quite, probably given over to shadow already. It's probably weakening him, but at the same time, now he's among his friends, he's in his village, he's got his sister here, he's got different things, so that'll probably sort of bolster him. You would think that, you probably have 10 days or so, maybe 10, 12 days before it starts getting really bad.
I don't believe that he will last 2 weeks.
Okay. What does everybody feel? How does everybody feel we should proceed then? It will take us 5 days, according to what Faron said, to get to the Forsaken Inn. That's 5 days there, 5 days back. That's 10 days already. That's without even hunting down the sword or blade, whatever it is we need to melt down. And then what do we do with the blade? Do we just destroy it and it gets rid of the curse? Do we have to melt it down and make it into an elixir to feed to Kel?
That would definitely kill him.
Yeah, so your natural 20, and I kind of missed it earlier, but thanks so much to Queen's Court Gaming for the raid. We super appreciate you. Thanks for coming in. I hope you had a good game tonight. Playing some Lord of the Rings here. You would know that it's more of a question of destroying the blade that did, and once it does that, it destroys the enchantment that creates the curse, and then once the blade itself is destroyed, the wound will heal like a normal wound.
I tell him that.
Well, that answers my other question of would the elf person that we're going to be meeting with be able to tell us how to cure it, what to do with it, but obviously we don't need that now. So, but what does everybody else think? Hunt down this Bane first, or get the circlet? And
all right, let's huddle up for a moment, away from Kel. Huddle up.
Holly comes back at that point, and she's brought wine or ale or whatever you'd want, and some water.
I think before we walk away, I have a moment with Kel where I just kind of put my hand on his shoulder, like one of the few parts that's not super injured, and I just say, "We're gonna do our best, man. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry I wasn't there for you." And then,
and as you turn to go, can I ask you a question?
Yeah. What's up, Kel?
How did you manage to piss my sister off so much?
She doesn't like that I don't want to stay in Bree. And then I have dreams of leaving, and so she broke up with me because apparently I'm unrealistic and my head is always in the clouds. So, you know what? It's whatever.
She's going to be even less happy about it now that she knows what happened to me out there. Sorry.
Yeah, so you're not really helping my case here. So really, this is your fault and not mine, and I'm blameless.
I guess you just have to make me all better then to show her that it's not so terrible.
Yeah, I guess so. Thanks, man. And I'll join the others.
All right. Now that we're out of earshot, it seems like we have two plans, two choices. One, we, leave the circlet here, and the other one is we take the circlet with us. If we take the circlet with us, we will probably draw Bane out to chase us, in which case we could destroy the blade that way. However, if we take the circlet with us, there is a great chance that will start affecting us.
Do you think it's smarter for us to take it with us, as hard as that's going to make it for us? I do think we do need to do something to hide Keel, make it seem like he passes away tonight, and then we'll hide him away somewhere, and that way it'll hopefully throw him off until we can figure it out.
I think we could use Holly's help for that. She were to make a big deal about her brother dying.
Yeah.
Then that would hide him fairly well.
Keep this room locked off with select Bree wardens on guard duty so that nobody comes in here to disturb Kel whatsoever. Taking the circle with us is a good idea, just in case the tracks that we pick up for Bane take us in the same direction as the Forsaken Inn as well.
Yeah, the circlet will be at my parents' farm, so we can just swing through there on our way out.
Let's also drop a rumor. So when Holly calls in sick for bereavement, as her brother has died, she should also tell one of her, like the other barmaid, to pass the rumor that the four of us have come into a treasure of some kind. Because then we'll certainly draw out Bane.
Are we even sure we can kill this Bane guy? I mean, you're looking pretty worse for wear, Elwyn, and I don't want my guts on the ground. I don't know.
I mean, it's true, but if we don't spread this rumor and sick this person after us, they will try to find Kel's body, no matter what, because they'll think he still has it on his person, and then he'll be a sitting duck.
I fully agree. Lan, this whole thing is going to require us to leave Bree. Do you feel ready for that yet? You're the only one of the four of us who has never left.
I mean, I've been ready forever. But I was a little freaked out by those shadowy guys. So, I think as long as we have a plan and we don't tell my mom, we're going to be okay.
You're like one of the kids from Stranger Things.
Yeah, just seriously, whatever you do, please do not tell my mom.
We'll just tell her that we've gone to camp.
Sure. Yeah, it's a warden training camp, and I'm up for a promotion. That's what we got to tell her. So I'll let you tell my mom that and distract her while I get the circlet.
Ah, the joys of being a boss man. Okay. The other thing that I think we need to do as well is, if any of us have any information on the Headless Cross that we can share between us, so we are all on the same page. I have a feeling that we would likely bump into more of them on the road. So I'll start. Sorry, Faron.
No, just agreeing with you. Like, pretty sure I've shared everything I knew, and that's just where they're typically further down south, and it's kind of unusual to hear reports that they're this far up north. So, but they're relatively new to me. I just knew that they were unsavory people that you try to avoid.
I've heard about them in the Laketown area, but I don't have much more information than any of you. Just they generally have that tattoo on their cheek.
Their face.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, yes, Lan, I was a young dwarf at one point. I wasn't always old.
When the earth was young.
I don't know. Same with us.
In the first age.
The first age when everything was green. Anyway, when I was traveling around with my parents, my father would speak of the Headless Cross. As Faron said, they are from the south, and as Kel told us before, they deal with ancient artifacts, crypts, treasure hunters, tomb raiders, whatever you want to call them. But a lot of the rooms around them are shrouded in shadow. There was one point where a group of dwarves, not related to myself, but just something that we'd heard, had come across some artifacts, and something happened to them. They were put under some sort of a spell, some of a shadow or some sort, and the headless cross made them disappear, as it were. So it's a bit of a myth among my people, among my family, which seems to tally up with what Kel's told us.
Yeah, and that lines up with my dad disappearing pretty soon after seeing a member of these headless guys. And that's all I know. But you guys see that as Lan says that's all I know, she like kind of rubs her neck a little bit nervously, and you do get a peek of like a silver chain, some kind of necklace that she seems to have on.
Insight check.
Inside away.
Yeah.
Is it an insight or an insight? Because if it's an inside, you just want to incite them to fight. That's different.
Insight of
Push
violence.
them a bit. That is going to be an 18 in total.
You want to do a deception or something?
Yes. I get a 10. So I think what Boss Man would see is Lan is obviously hiding something that she has and thinks it might be related to the disappearance of her dad and that kind of thing. But she is obviously like trying to hide it. She's not trying to like show the group. But that's up to Carlum if he wants to call her out on it.
So, yes, if there's anything that anybody else feels that might be helpful for us to know that could potentially save our lives as well as Kel's at some point. I'm looking over everybody when I say this, but when I look at Lan, I sort of focus a little bit longer on Lan than I do the others. But I don't want to make it obvious that I'm calling her out.
Nope. I don't. That's it. I'm just worried about my friend.
Okay. If this circlet emits some sort of a shadow going off of what I was told as a child, that could be what draws the headless cross to it. So taking it with this is probably our best option.
Yeah, we can go to the farm and I'll show you where my dad used to hide stuff. And I guess that's where Kel hides stuff now too.
And I suppose I'll talk to your mother about you going to Brewarden Camp.
Yes, that would be great. And make sure you mention the promotion. She'll be very excited about that.
I think the first thing that we need to do, though, as I slip on the floor a bit, is we need to take Elwyn to get her wound treated because the floor's very red.
Oh my god, is that all from you?
I'm half the elf I used to be.
But still taller than Carlum.
Is there like a healer in town or something? Like, how
Yeah,
does that
so
work?
how about you give me kind of a list of all the things you want to accomplish, and then we'll sort of narrate through that, and then we'll have your characters get a rest, and then we can sort of take it from there at that point. So you're going to go get the circlet at your father's shed. You're going to talk to your mother. You're going to get a healer for Aelwind. What else?
We are going to enlist Holly to pretend that her brother has died from this, to both call off work and so that she can tend to him in secret, but also to have one of her friends or regulars spread the rumor that the four of us wardens have come into some kind of a treasure. She doesn't know what it is, but it sounds expensive.
Okay. Anything else?
I think
I would be the one that would offer to talk to Holly.
it would be. I would say to Lan that the Bree Wardens would try to cover the cost of whatever money Holly would lose from not working.
Sure.
'Cause you
Yeah.
probably need that for medical supplies anyway. And Harlan would then would then go to the armory and would start packing travel rations, bits that everybody would need to take with them, being very sort of make sure you take your pack up with you and all of that sort of stuff with the bags and everything. So make sure we've got everything that we need.
Okay. Anything else anyone wants to do? Let's say in the next, over the evening and into the morning before you depart.
Just pack. I mean, basically, I want it to look like we got something, like we picked up something maybe we shouldn't have picked up that's worth something, and so we're split in town.
Yeah.
To
Maybe we
solidify this
leave-
rumor.
Do we have like pins or like something on our uniforms that like designates that we're wardens that we can like leave behind?
Yeah.
Like pretending that we quit?
Okay, so look, let's start with this. One of you give me a persuasion check. And since the other ones would be helping, we'll say you've got advantage on it. So one person give me a persuasion check with advantage. We'll start with that.
Not me.
I'm not very charismatic either.
Not me.
The non-charisma bunch.
I literally have a 0 though. So if anyone has over a 0.
It's the charisma dump bunch.
I have a 1.
Well,
I have a -1. So
well, you have advantage, Aelwyn. So I would
Am
say
I
Yeah.
the most charismatic at 1?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
persuasion, you got a bonus of 4, Ashley.
No, that is all right. Yes. Okay.
But you got advantage, so
And with advantage. Come on, Tice. Be nice to me. That is cocked. Woo! Thank God. 22.
hey.
So I will say, and I will, Arya, give you a chance to actually talk to Holly if you want, but just for the purpose of convincing everyone to go along with this plan of yours, that works. So you get Holly to go along, you get her to talk to a friend of hers will go along. You talk to Barnabas, the owner of the Prancing Pony, and he's going to go along and he's going to still pay Holly her wages and all that. So you're covered on all ends with that. And the rest of the Bree Wardens, of course, will all kind of pitch in and come in. And so your plan's going to take shape and you're going to be able to convince people to set that up. If you still want that discussion with her, Ariel, I'll give it to you there momentarily. Then I want someone to give me a travel roll. Again, this time with advantage. And this is just to see how well you pack and how well you prepare
I feel
yourselves.
like that's going to be Faron, probably.
yeah, I can do that.
I'd be helping Faron with that. I know advantage anyway.
Yeah, I got a 24.
All right. So you don't have to really worry about putting gear and stuff like that on your sheet. We'll just say, anything reasonable that you need during the travel, you will have packed, like whether it's extra clothes or food or, any of those things, right? So that's sorted. You will go to the house. You will go to your father's shed, and exactly where he used to have his thing. You will find the circlet there, and it's just a band. It's not even silver or gold. It's just a band of tarnished steel, and it just has at the front. It has like a little hole, like maybe there used to be a gem or something there, but there's nothing there anymore. And it's really just this very simple sort of band. And
Yeah, I
It's
think
like-
I would have taken Aelwind with me.
who goes? Let me tell you. Tell me who goes to get this thing.
I'm going to talk to Lan's mum. So
Yeah, you're distracting my mom. But I think I would definitely ask Aelwind to come with me. so that I could immediately hand it to her, the most responsible one of the two of us.
You know, elves are sort of resistant against
Nope.
these kinds of things.
I don't want to lose it. And you know how I lose things.
So both of you give me a charisma saving throw, and Lan, you'll do it at disadvantage.
Ow.
Okay.
Okay, saving throw, I have a 1. With disadvantage. Oh, there goes one dice. No.
Ooh, 20.
Okay.
30, 20.
So both of you, when you see and touch this circlet, you feel the shadows that are wrapped around it, and you feel this sort of weight that kind of settles on you. You are able, Aelwyn, to sort of push it out of your mind and sort of resist it, so you don't get any shadow. You, however, not only do you get a shadow point, but because you rolled a 1, you get 2 shadow points. And you feel that the reason why you're so susceptible to it is because of something else. Like there's already like something about you that just kind of opens a door for this thing.
Yeah, I like feel it in my chest.
Yeah.
A bit.
And so you give it away, but you still take 2 shadow points.
Yeah, definitely take this, please. Oh my god, that makes me feel horrible.
And Aelwyn, when you take it, you feel very uncomfortable with it, like you're holding something dirty and bad and evil and just dark, and you just know that there's no good that comes from this. You feel in the back of your mind, you know, a little, after all, why shouldn't I keep it? Like you get that little, well, you know, maybe if it's this powerful, you get like a split second of that, and then with your saving throw, you're like, no, don't even think about that. You think back to, like, you remember what Kel said about thinking about, you know, instances of fellowship and friendship and things like that, and you think back to a good memory that you have maybe with Kel from back in the day, and it sort of strengthens your resolve, and you don't covet this thing right now.
Fell things should stay buried. She'll like put it into her bag.
You got any crackers or anything? I'm feeling nauseous.
Do you want some elven whey bread?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Very filling, very filling.
Ooh, yeah.
Crack up a piece and hand it over.
This
Good
is
try.
great. Have you been holding out on me? What the hell?
Oh, I bake a little at
Oh
home.
my god, Aelwyn, I love this.
Someone's got sprinkles on it.
There's crumbs all over me.
You're supposed to eat it.
It got in my hair somehow. I don't know.
Sounds about right.
Calram, you're going to talk to the old lady. So are you going to go at it with some perception, some deception, or some intimidation?
Definitely some persuasion, I
Okay.
would say. I mean,
Go-
I don't have a good role in any of those, so
That's fine. Go ahead and give me a persuasion roll then.
that was nearly a 17, but that's a 7.
Okay.
No!
So in the end, she'll say that, you know, she's not very happy about it, but, you know, if she says no, Lane's just gonna sneak out the window tonight and go anyways. Like, so, you know, it was kind of like a foregone conclusion. She was gonna, but she's not happy about it. And you best believe that if anything happens to Lan, I'm coming after you with my rolling pin.
I fully believe you. The last time you hit me with the rolling pin was not the nicest of times. I would rather not have that happen again. Thank you.
And she's kind of short, like she's almost like a hobbit. She's really short, but she's really kind of like built. And so she's kind of dangerous because she's hitting it like, you know.
Yes, no,
All
I
on you,
would
it's
rather
still
not
head
have.
level, but, you know, on a normal human, it would be.
Farrell, were you hitting on my mom?
I'm really trying not to, but you know, the last time she hit on me was when you told her you were joining the Bree Wardens. So
Yeah. No, I'm sorry about that. I still feel bad about that.
So you will go about getting your gear, all that. You'll see a healer who will bandage your wounds and whatnot. The fact that you will get, I will give you guys a full rest since you are in your sanctuary. You are in Bree, and you feel safe. You will get a full a long rest for tonight, so you can get rid of all your wounds. I will also, this is only supposed to happen in what's called a fellowship phase, but I kind of feel that with Kel coming back and all of you kind of deciding to help Kel, it's almost kind of like a moment like that. So I will allow you all to make, and we'll call it just a, let's call it a wisdom. So give me a wisdom save. All of yous. Looking for we'll say looking for 13.
16.
I got a nat 1.
11.
I got a 15.
Okay. So Josh and Arya, you can each heal 2 shadow points, and the other 2 you can each heal 1 shadow point. As having found Kelligan, having found like a, you know, like a common goal, like working together, having, you know, like you've been kind of just all kind of doing your own thing, but you've all kind of come together and all that. It's kind of strengthened the bonds of fellowship amongst you, so it pushes away a little bit of the darkness that has kind of been seeping in and all that. So and then of course you get all your powers back and you heal up all the damage, whatever that you had taken around.
What's
Anything
everyone's shadow at?
Huh?
I'm just curious.
Sorry?
What's everyone's shadow at? 2. Faron has 0.
0.
I only got one in the fight, and like I was so far away because I was like last in the initiative.
Bro,
So
I had 5 and now I have 3.
Yeah, I was up close and personal with those guys as well.
Yeah.
They rub off on you.
I'm feeling very doubtful that I'm going to be able to keep the promise to Lan's mum.
Want to borrow a rolling pin?
We're gonna do our best.
It's +1.
Is that
Plus-
courting
yes.
for dwarves?
The rolling pin is +1 to hit.
+1 in
The-
slaying.
The thing is, when Lan said about hitting on her mum, Carlum doesn't understand that term, so he generally thinks you mean him.
Oh, yeah. I've never laid a hand on her.
I love that. Nobody tell him.
Anything else you want to accomplish before in the morning you are ready to set off?
Just packing up some provisions and stuff. Again, like sticking with the idea that we're skipping town real quick. So, you know, it makes sense for us to quickly gather everything and then.
So you make plans to
rejoin
get
to
out
town.
like early before people kind of really get out and, you know, kind of skip out so that,
Yeah.
and you probably
Probably
like do something like
pre-dawn?
head out the north gate, but then kind of double around into the woods and come back to go east kind of thing.
there's one thing that like I would have done, like just
Yep.
talking to the merchants, and I can roll for this too, but like I would say that we were going a different direction, like up the north road or something. So that way if like people come looking for us, there's at least hopefully something to throw them off.
No problem.
So-
I'll put that into your roll from earlier, the persuasion roll for the plan.
Okay.
You got like a 20, so that's all good. As you do want to have your moment with Holly, Arya, or You wanna
How are we
just
doing
roll
on
it?
time? Because we can just role play it away, or I could do it quickly. Up to you.
we can have a quick uncomfortable moment.
Okay.
So you'll before leaving, maybe in the morning, you'll go and check on Kel, sort of thing, and
Yeah, I'll go
You-
check on him.
you find her like she's in the chair next to his bed, and she's kind of fallen asleep, holding the rag that she was using to, like, obviously kind of completely exhausted, and
Yeah, I would very gently wake her up.
Mm.
Okay, just hey H.
Must have
How you doing,
dozed
H?
off.
Can I talk to you for a second?
She kind of ignores you and goes and checks her brother, and then when she sees her brother's breathing and still okay, she's like, yeah, I need to step out for a little bit anyways.
Yeah.
The thing away, and just have you, as you're leaving the room, have you decided then to go and try and find this elven woman?
Yeah, we're and more importantly, we're gonna try to find the people that did this to Kel.
Do you think there's a chance they're going to come here while you're gone?
Maybe. But that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about. So Aelwyn had this idea, which we would need a lot from you, but it might mean that you and your brother would be safe. Basically, the idea is if you were to pretend that he passes and to pretend that you are grieving him, then news would spread that he has died, and then they wouldn't need to come here to kill him because they would think they'd already finished the job.
That probably means they'll go after you, right?
Yeah, and that's the goal. We're taking stuff with us specifically so that they will follow us. So it just makes it more likely that they'll follow us, and that way we can find them and stop them. And I know all this is so scary, and I know that I'm asking a lot of you, but basically my thought is to pin it on me, since obviously, you broke up with me, so you can turn me into the villain and say that I stole something from your brother, some kind of treasure, before he passed and skipped town. And then, that rumor can spread and maybe we can catch these guys.
I'd have to pretend to hate you.
Yeah, which shouldn't be hard because I'm sure you already hate me.
I think I can probably manage that.
Lan, visibly feels that pain because part of her was hoping that she still liked her.
Oh, but she says it with a bit of a smile, though, like little corners.
Yeah.
You promise to be careful?
No, I don't promise that. I think the goal is to not be careful so that they catch up to us. So I'm going to be the least careful.
That's why Calrum's there.
Sure. Yeah. No, just if my mom asks, maybe don't tell her that I'm evil. That'd be, but like everybody else you can, just maybe not my mom, if you don't mind.
I think your mom already knows.
That I'm evil?
She gives you a smile.
Oh my god.
Everyone knows.
Here, do you need a smoke or something? I'm sure you're exhausted, but take this pipe. It used to be my dad's. You can keep it safe for me until I get back.
Yeah. She takes it and it's in her little apron.
Oh. Hit you on the other side of the Middle Earth thing.
Be careful out there. Oh, that's right. You can't promise, but be careful anyways.
Yeah, no, I'll be careful. Aelwyn doesn't let me get into too much trouble, thankfully. So. Yeah, but thank you for doing this. I know you're going through a lot, but we'll be back soon.
I'm just glad he's back. I just sad that it's causing all this trouble, but Kel, if he wasn't causing trouble, it wouldn't be Kel.
Yeah, I missed him. I'm glad he's back too.
Well, we'll have time to catch up when you come back with him, and maybe it can be the way it used to be.
Sure. Yeah. I think she's trying to be super cool, but a part of her has that glimmer of hope, as it used to be. What does that mean? What does she mean by that? Oh my god. And she just kind of walks away. A little smile on her face.
All right. A little smile. Cool. So you will be heading off on the east road. Since you're not going cross country, we're not going to go through the whole travel thing, but I will ask you to designate a scout. So the way it's going to happen is that there are mechanics for traveling in this game, We're not going to go the full whole hog yet because you're not going across country, that's what I was saying. But still, you should designate a scout, and you can change every day if you want. But basically, every day that you go out, the scout's going to make a travel roll. And the scout can be helped by one other player, so you can have advantage. And that will determine whether or not you take fatigue that day, if you find a good place to rest, if you find some shelter, if you eat enough food, so on and so forth. All right. And we'll, if ever you end up having to go cross country or something, we'll go with the more complex travel rules, but for now it'll be that. So go ahead, and who would you like to have be the scout? It can be a different person every day. It can be the same person. Doesn't matter too much.
I'm good at navigating, traveling, but I also, the dice are not kind to me personally.
Maybe our ranger could be our guide.
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah, it probably makes sense. He probably knows the area a bit better. So before you set out, there is in Bree a bit of a tradition or superstition, perhaps. There is a well called the Old Town Well. And people believe that because of some ancient enchantment, there's a strange luck that's associated with that well. If you toss a coin into the well on the day that you depart for a journey, it may bring you some luck, or at least that's what the superstition is. So, will anyone be going by the well?
Oh, yeah.
Faron would.
Yeah, for sure. Land's big on the traditions.
All right, so let's
Make
start.
my own luck.
Let's start with Lan. What do you think about it, and sort of what do you hope for or wish for when you send that coin down the well?
I think Lan hopes that she can save her friend, the person who, gave her the opportunity to not be a bum and be a troublemaker like those kids they apprehended the other day. He gave her the chance to make something of herself with this position with the wardens. And I think she thinks about coming back to see him smiling and fully recovered.
Excellent. Halram?
I just think as I begin to put my coin in there, I'm too old for this shit. I just want to get to retirement age. I just want to pass everything on, and I just want to make sure that everybody else gets back safely.
And you throw your coin down the well, and it kind of does a weird wobble and kind of doesn't land where you want to, and it hits the side of the well, and it kind of rolls around the well very slowly, kind of goes all the way around, and then it kind of wobbles, and it kind of looks like it might fall off the side of it. Then at the last second, Faron is coming to do the same as you, and he moves closer, and like just sort of the presence of him kind of pushes it off, and it falls into the well.
That's a bad omen.
Faron, do you toss a coin to your well, to your witcher?
Yes. So Faron would be thinking about like just wanting Bree to be safe, making sure that or just thoughts with Keel, being worried that he's gonna not make it essentially, and then just super concerned about Bree and hoping that the Headless Cross doesn't show up while we're gone. So
no problem, man. You flip that coin, and Callum, you watch as he flips it and does like a bunch of flint, catches a glint of sunlight, and then right dead center into the middle of that thing. No
Go off.
Does Aylwin
practice
do it or not?
No, but she takes out a coin and she hands it to Lan and says, "You can have mine." And then she kind of turns and wanders off.
I'll flip both at the same time.
Okay. Lan's like, I already fingered the other coin from you, but I'll take this one too. So
did not.
I will because you so tossing the coin to well, and I will give it to Aylwind also, since you did give the coin anyway. Well, everyone gets a inspiration that you can spend.
Yay!
So as you depart from Bree, most of you have been at least a day or two away from Bree. Faron has probably gone a little bit further. Obviously, Elwyn and Callum, you've come from further, but like regularly, you don't really venture out that far. We'll take a break shortly, but before we do, you set off, and the air has gotten a little colder than it was. You can really tell that winter's just kind of around the corner, and there's still a little bit of sun that rises as you set off. Like you've left the town when it was still kind of dark, and by the time you kind of go around the woods, come back before the marshes and get back on the road, the sun is starting to rise, and you can see it off on the horizon, this little sort of reddish ball that's rising up, and you take it as a bit of a good omen. The first day of your travel is pretty easy. You're still seeing a lot of farmland, a lot of houses, so most of the day there's still always other people around and things of that nature. There's people coming and going from Bree. Go ahead and give me your travel roll, Mr. Scout, and because someone is helping you, you will get an advantage on it.
I think I'd help on, at least on the first day. I would help.
Okay. I promise. Nat 20 again, so 25.
All right, excellent. So
Good start.
The first day
Yeah.
that you're on the road, it's almost kind of like a pleasant, little adventure. You go out, you have a little picnic, everyone eats well, the food is still very fresh, whatever you got that was warm is still warm from the morning, if you got bread, things of that nature. The weather holds up nice. There's people on the road, you get news, you get, exchange rumors, things like that. And the first day goes by quite easily. Give me a D6 roll, if you would, Faron.
5.
That night, you managed to find shelter in a barn. So there's a farmstead that, you know the owners, and you go in and you ask if you can crash on their barn. They say yes, and they give you some food that night, some warm food, so you have a good meal that first night, and manage to go to sleep in the barn, which is warm and dry. You hear the animals downstairs kind of, snoring and moving around, and it's very comforting. However, the next morning, as you wake up, I would like everyone to make a charisma saving throw.
Okay.
And
And I would say we would have done watches because we're expecting to get
yeah,
bombed.
absolutely.
Okay.
I got a
Yes, we-
12.
Really good. We all chose charisma as our double stat.
You know what? I would like to use my auto success of being a magical elf.
But you can only use it for specific skills.
Is this not? Oh, okay. This is
It's
not a
skills
skill
that you
This was-
have. No, it's skills that
Okay.
you have proficiency in.
Okay.
You can.
So
use
not
that,
not a save
Unfortunately,
that I
not.
can use it, but okay.
There, you got some
But I
advantages
won't
kicking
use
around
it
there.
on there. All right. Yeah, I'll use with advantage because these will rack up if I don't.
Also, you don't need to sleep, right, Ash?
Yeah, I meditate.
Yeah, for 4 hours.
I'm going to use one of my inspirations. I rolled a 7 and a 10, so I didn't do very well.
I got a 12. I don't think I'm going to
First.
use my inspiration.
Remember, you have to use your inspiration before you roll.
I got a 7.
Definitely not using
13 for me.
So only Faron got 13 or higher.
Yep.
So all of you wake up having had kind of dark dreams where you felt sort of shadowy presence looming in the distance. And even though you had a wonderful day the day before, even though you had a wonderful night's sleep, in the last few minutes as you wake up, you kind of feel the shadows kind of crowding in on you and sort of almost smothering you. And when you wake up, all of you except Faron have gotten one shadow point. And I will say that you get the feeling that it's near you, like there's something around you or about you that is causing this. Like it's not coming from the outside. It's definitely something that's among you.
Definitely the circlet.
And
Fell
before we
air
break-
around this thing.
Sorry, what?
Oh, I said there's a fell air around this thing.
Before we break, we'll do the second day. So go ahead and give me your scouting roll again for the second day. And I guess if you're being helped, you can do an advantage on it.
There's different travel rolls that we'll do eventually, right? Like each of
Yeah.
us does a different thing.
Yeah.
Then I think Faron should probably be our default with the travel rolls.
I think in terms of assists, I would push Lan to help assist Faron on this one as a way for Faron to Lan to learn about travel and tracking and stuff.
And
Like-
Farron would be more than happy to like, you know, be like, oh yeah, and pull out his cartographer tools and be like, so this is what I'm doing, kind of thing, kind of plot it out.
What's that? What's that? What's
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, you realize that Farron's usually very quiet, doesn't say much. You realize he knows a lot. Like he's been around here. He knows he's got a story for almost everything that you encounter. And he knows everyone. Oh yeah, that's old farmer Bob. That's old, like he just knows the land. Very impressive.
So I rolled a 21 for that one.
All right. I was like, watch him flub his roll now. So the second day goes by well also. It's a little bit colder still, but there's still some sunshine. Give me a D6 to see where you sleep that night.
2.
That night you find, unfortunately you don't get covered shelter, but you find a hollow off to the side of the road that is quite well hidden from the road and from the wind and all that. And you manage to build a nice little fire and still get sort of a good night's rest there. And I will ask you in the morning when you wake up to once again make a charisma roll. If you wish to use an advantage, you have to say so now and spend it and then roll it. Thanks for the follow.
I'm going to use my advantage this time because I'm up to 4 shadow points. And I don't get it. I get a 12 again.
I rolled a 2.
I got a 5.
All right. Well, everyone doesn't get at least a 13. Gets another point of shadow. And you kind of get the feeling that the further away you get from Bree, the more isolated you are, the more you kind of become nervous and, you kind of suspicious of everything. You hear a branch crack and you kind of jump up and you feel like there's just something just waiting for you, just around the corner, over the bend, down outside this copse tree. You get the feeling that there's a presence, a shadowy presence there that's just hiding there, just waiting for you to sort of come a little closer before it springs out on you. The next day, go ahead and make your roll again, and then we will take our break here in 1 minute. I just want to get to this a little bit.
Okay. Now I get a 13. Finally.
15 for travel this time.
15? Good enough.
Yes.
No problem. The third day, rain comes. It starts off as a bit of a drizzle in the morning. By the time you stop for your lunch, it's coming down fairly regularly, enough that you're wearing, your cloaks up and you're kind of getting drenched, and you're kind of hoping you're going to find a place that night to get some cover. As you sort of crest up a little bit of a hill, and by this point the road is really kind of muddy and rutted and just not as comfortable as it was to walk around. The trees sort of seem to be the foliage is much more gone. The trees are kind of more crooked, and it's just kind of it started out as this really pleasant little walk out into the meadows, and now it's kind of become a bit of an arduous trek. You got a 15, you said, on the scouting roll?
Yes.
All right, so as you come around a corner, you will see ahead of you what looks like someone on the side of the road. There's a fire that's there, and they've built kind of a little shelter over it to protect it from the rain. You can see a wagon, and it's not like a horse-drawn wagon. It's like a wagon that a person would pull. It's got a bunch of stuff on it, and it's kind of leaned there. And there's someone that's sitting at the fire, but sort of leaning against the rock, and you can sort of clearly see that there's a bit of evidence around in the area, perhaps of some sort of scuffle or something having happened. But we will leave it at that for now. We will come back after the break and see exactly what this situation, what this ambush, this situation is all about. Thank you so much, people, for hanging out with us. We super appreciate you. A lot of fun in the chat tonight, people chatting. That's always great fun to see. We will take a very short break here. And I want to say, guys, fantastic role playing. It was a lot of fun watching you guys really kind of come into your characters and start working together. It was very beautiful. I super appreciated all of it. So good job with that. So we'll take a very short break. We'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. We shall return. We have returned to Middle Earth. We are here walking along the East Road with the players, heading towards the Forsaken Inn in the hopes of finding there a way to help their friend, Kel Halfmoon, who is apparently under some sort of curse. The players have been traveling for, it's on the third day of travel now. Things have been going fairly well. They do get a sense of dread that kind of hovers about them and kind of affects them a little bit. But otherwise, things have been going well. Just today, it started raining. So the road is turning a little bit to mud, and, you know, it's a bit less entertaining than it was before. And as they come around the bend here, they notice a person that is sitting down, leaning back against a rock near a fire. And there's some sort of little cart, like a little merchant's cart that someone pull on the side of the road. And the players, who are gigantic on this map, arrive here, and I would like to give you an opportunity. You notice this person in this scene before they see you. So I want to give you the opportunity here to decide how you want to approach this situation. I did mention that there was perhaps some sign of some sort of altercation having taken place. You see the grass has been beaten down. There's some bushes that are broken. You think perhaps you see some blood on the ground. But it's not very clear exactly sort of what's happened. So I would like to give you an opportunity to sort of tell me how you want to approach this.
Ideas?
I just want to I want to look to see if this person has any obvious wounds, you know, like, can I see, is there a lot of blood on his clothes or anything like that? Are there drag marks from maybe a body getting dragged away?
Go ahead and give me a perception. See, that's something you could spend your miraculous.
Sure. I will take my miraculous magical success on a perception to see about this fight.
So you're all like Legolas, who, like, when they don't see anything, is like, I see 73 of them, 2 of them with beards.
One of them has a limp. Yeah.
And they're like, I don't say anything. So you take some time to scout it out. You can see that the person appears to be wounded. There appears to be some sort of wound at his leg. He's got what appears to be his clothing is damaged. You see some blood. He's got some sort of splint, sort of a hastily made sort of splint there. He's got an axe that is in his hand. He looks like he's maybe passed out or something. Like he's kind of limp, and his axe is hanging loose in his hand. And you don't see anything of anything being dragged, but you do notice, with your miraculous success, on the edges of the forest, you can see the body of what appears to be a dead wolf, perhaps, that's just kind of on the edge of where the trees are.
Wolves, I think. I will say to my party.
Say the wolf is like, you see it kind of like a lot over here.
I think you should take the lead here, boss man.
I was just going to say approach with caution.
Yep.
Can I do... So I have favored foes as far as beasts, and I'm rereading what it does right now. I can sense if my favored foes are present within a number of miles equal to my wisdom modifier score.
Right. So you smell the air, you look at the tracks, you look at what type of bushes and plant stuff are around here, and all these things kind of give you clues as to whether this is like a wolf hunting ground. You can tell that there were a number of them around here a few hours ago, but they seem to have gone off far enough that you don't feel they're an immediate threat. But this is not their traditional hunting ground, and it's definitely not like this guy didn't stumble into like a wolf den or anything like that. It's kind of strange that they're here, but you get the feeling that something has pushed them out here and they've been foraging like out here further and further afield from where they would normally. So that's a little bit kind of strange to you. Any wolf that would sort of stray so far out of their territory would be pretty aggressive, and so you would understand that if this guy was alone and maybe he fell asleep and his fire died down because of the rain or something, that they might have been emboldened enough to attack. When Aylwin points out the one dead wolf that she sees, they look like normal wolves. You don't get the sense that this is some sort of aberration.
Okay. So yeah, I would essentially say I don't think that they're here any longer, but it was it does seem like it was wolves, but it's really unusual that they would be here so far away from their typical hunting grounds.
We should hail this gentleman from far enough away. I imagine if he was recently attacked, I don't want to get an axe in my face.
Sounds good. Who wants to hail him?
She just points at you, Carla.
I'll say something in the Dwarven language that I know.
And what do you say?
I just say, "Hello there, friend."
And when you say that, he kind of wakes up and he looks around. And are you guys hiding or are you in plain view?
That would be really cool if I said that and we were all hiding.
No, we're on the road. We look like we're traveling.
And he responds in Dwarven, who are you, friend or foe? Identify yourselves. He grabs his axe and he seems to be really kind of nervous.
Friend, no, not aggressive towards you or anything like that. Just passing through. I want to check you're okay.
Pretty fucking far from okay.
Do you require
Come over
aid?
here. Come over here.
He's calling us over.
Stop lurking.
Not lurking. We're in the middle of the road.
My eyesight's not what it used to be. As you approach the camp, then, I guess?
Yeah.
So he's a dwarf. And he does look kind of like he got into a pretty bad tussle. Like his clothes are ripped in a few places. He's got like claw marks and by stuff, but his leg really looks like it took the brunt of it. The little cart that he's got looks like a merchant's cart. It still looks like well strapped and sort of everything in it. And whatnot. It doesn't look like he's got like sleeping equipment out, so he was certainly not out here camping. Like you get a feeling he probably stopped here to eat or something and he got jumped. Come on by. And he'll switch to the common tongue. My name is Zyor. Zyor the Fair. I could use a hand if you don't mind. I kind of got molested by a bunch of damn wolves.
Okay. Have you got any medical supplies or anything on your cart we can use?
Yeah. If you look under where, if it was like a cart with like a sitting thing and like under where that, like in the front there, there's like a little, you'll see a little like door thing you can, yeah, right there. Just, yeah, open that. No, turn the handle the other way. Yeah, that's it. In there. And you manage to open and you find like some supplies and some food and some first aid stuff. I don't know that I got anything to kind of deal with this. I'm pretty banged up. I think my legs broke.
Where are you heading, if you don't mind me asking?
Just doing my regular round. So go ahead. I would say,
is this the dwarven merchant from Brie who I spoke to?
No, it's not. But I was going to say both Josh and Alex, perhaps, I think. Go ahead and make me a, we'll just see if you know this guy. Give me a travel.
Okay. 1 second.
Ooh. That's a 16 for me.
23.
So you've heard of him. He's passed by Bree a few times. You know that he's from the Grey Havens, so he's from the west. The dwarves and the Grey Havens in the west, by the Blue Mountains. And you know that every couple years he passes by. I would say you rolled pretty high, so you know that every couple of years he makes a trip to Rivendell and comes back. And he just walks it. He's got his little push cart and he just sets off from Grey Havens and throughout the spring and summer and travels to Rivendell and then winters there and then the next spring, summer sort of comes back. He's been doing that for several years.
Are you coming or going from Rivendell?
I was going. I don't know if I'm going to get there now.
Well, we're heading east, so we could see you some of the way, maybe towards...
That'd be kind. I know a place not too far from here. There's the woman I know, her name's Elodie. She's got a farm not too far from here. If you can help me and you can get me and my cart there, I'm sure she'll be willing to house you all for the night. It looks like it's gonna be a pretty bad one. I'm glad you came along. I thought I was gonna be stuck out here in this rain all night. Yeah, help me up. If one of you can help me, maybe we can make some room on the cart and then I could sit and then
Can
a
I
couple of you strong lads could push that thing.
I'd go over and help him.
can I do an insight check
Yeah, please do.
to see if this guy's actually as hurt as he claims to be?
Please do.
I got a 15.
Yeah, he seems totally like, an open book, totally honest.
Okay.
Faron, you go over and you help him up.
Yeah.
Hey, you're a big lad.
I'll help him. I'll take the other arm.
Oh, it's kind of unbalanced now. It's okay. We're good. So you'll help him, or you make some room on the cart. I'll take two of you to pull this in. It's not too far. It's only just a couple of miles down the road. Mighty glad you found me. Appreciate it. Where
Are wolf attacks usual for this?
usually not around
journey of
here.
yours?
You spot them more on the other side of the river, a couple of days away from here in the east. That's where they usually hang, which jives with what you know, Faron. I was kind of surprised. I mean, I just set up here. I always kind of stop around near here. If I don't stop at Elodie, I stop here, and I barely had time to start warming up my meal, and three of them,
How many?
big bastards, three of them Came out of nowhere, super silent, like no howling or nothing. They just, like shadows, just came right out of the trees and jumped me, and it was all I could do to keep them from turning me into kibbles and bits. I killed one of them, I think, and I gave a good what for to one of the other ones, and then they decided that it was more than they bargained for, but I thought for sure they were waiting for me to just fall asleep before they came back and, well, took a bite out of old Zvior.
Well,
What are y'all headed for anyways? Where y'all headed for?
Sorry, what did he say?
Where are you all headed for?
It just sounded like
my Dwarvis is a bit rusty.
It's got a very thick accent.
Where y'all
It's
headed
hard
for?
to understand.
we're heading east.
Well, I can make that out on my own, little lady.
Yep.
Oh, we're gonna be mysterious about it, eh?
That's
Well,
the truth. It's not a mystery, it's the truth.
Well, we're all heading east, I guess. I'm on my way to Rivendell myself. A friend of mine there, Elduin. Travel there every once in a while, once every 2 years, go out there, spend some time with him. Winter out there. It's beautiful out there in the winter. No snow. It's great for my bones and my joints.
You sound an awful lot like me.
Well, he looks you up and down. I'd say we're about of an age. You're not from the Blue Mountains, though, are you?
No, I'm a wanderer.
Yeah. I can see that you have no moss. No Rolling Stone, a Macedon, never mind. Old hobbits.
No, I got the joke. It's, yeah.
Lan leans over to Elwind and is like, "What's a Rivendell?"
It's an elf city.
Oh, gotcha. They got that good bread there.
They got a good everything there. You should see the wine. To die for. I mean, literally almost just died, so, you know.
Must be worth it.
Are you from Rivendell, then?
I am not from there, but I may know some people.
I didn't catch your name, though. My name's Vior.
I am Aelwyn Silversteel.
Silversteel. Is that... I've been meaning to ask, Ash, is that your actual family name, or is that like your nom de plume, nom de guerre?
It's her name. I don't know that elf culture enough to know if they pass down their names like, you know, paternal, maternal, or anything like that. So I don't know if there would be a Silversteel family, or not.
Okay. You, but yeah, sorry, you're not from Rivendell. Silversteel, can't place the name, but I guess if you're not from Rivendell, that would be why I don't really know many more elves other than the ones out there. But you do have, a kind of, bearing about you. You do, remind me of my friend a lot. He's a merchant, mostly wine, things of that nature. Does very well for himself. It's always a good time to go there. Very comfortable house. Just sit by, watch the crystal clear waters float by, and there's always some bird or something chirping away. It's it's very good for the soul. You must miss your home if you're out here.
I am more inclined to be involved in the paths of men. I don't want to fade away across the silver shores, and I feel that I'm needed. So while many elf cities are idyllic and peaceful and full of fine wine, I think it's more important to be involved in the lives of men.
Well, that's one of the strangest things I've ever heard. And most of what I know from the world of men is mud and aggravation and just general distemperament.
And
Whereas,
that is why they need the most help.
I guess it's one way of seeing it. So beautiful and peaceful in Rivendell, though. What about you there,
she
big
helps
guy?
me all the time.
Sorry?
She helps me all the time.
You
She
look
needs
like
a
you
lot of
need it.
help.
Aw, well, that's not.
Yeah, I'm
That's
kidding.
kind of rude.
You did a really good job of carrying me to the...
Yeah, you're welcome
Okay.
for that. I didn't have to.
No problem. What's your name, little thing?
You can just call me Lan. And
Man.
I'm taller than you. Why are you calling me little?
Well, you know, it's just a perspective thing because I'm way older than you.
Means young.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you look like, you know,
I don't like that.
fresh out of the training program.
You can just call me Lan, and I've seen many hardened battles, and I give a really bad wink to Carlum to like back me up.
Yes, very many hard battles.
Yeah.
Only the hardest battles.
They call me Lan the Slayer.
Uh-huh. What is it you slay exactly?
Bartenders.
Yeah.
They're breaking hearts, I take it.
Specifically bartenders, yeah.
Well, you know, you gotta start somewhere.
I don't like this guy. Lan walks away. She's like, I'm mad that I helped you.
Did I hurt her feelings?
Oh,
I think
is
she'll get
very
over it.
young.
Get some scars going on that. What about you there, big guy? What's your name?
I am Faron. Essentially just from Bree. At this point,
Ah, Bree, the prancing pony. That
Yeah.
that old shack still standing?
it is.
Good
I don't
place.
think it'll ever go away.
Yeah. Barnabas still own that joint?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be. That guy was old when I was young. And he's human. So what, y'all just taking a health walk? What's your situation here? You make a pretty strange little group, you know.
No,
Don't mind me.
we're on
I'm just making
official-
conversation. I usually travel alone, so it's kind of boring.
We're on official party business.
Where have I heard that before? Seems familiar. I read it
Didn't
somewhere.
we get you to where you need to go already?
Why y'all being so secretive? One would start getting suspicious. But I'm not a suspicious kind, so you know. Fine. You don't want to tell old Viewer what you're up to. No, maybe old Viewer can help you out.
We could just leave you here.
You won't do that.
Then you're on your own. So, you know.
Nah, you're way too kind for that. I got you a measure. I got the cut of your jib. Y'all fine people. I can tell. You're not
You
like
know what?
this.
What is
I'll-
this
you know what,
strange
I'll-
dialect?
Aelwyn gets a little twinkle in her eye, and she goes, "Actually, we're tracking some very dangerous individuals.
Do tell.
Mask, scars on their faces. Have you seen anyone like that?"
Well, just every time I look in the mirror. But specific ones? Nah. Can't say that I've run into anything like that. Not in recent days.
Well, if you see anyone like that, give them
Wendy,
a
I
wide berth. Do not interact with them. They're very, very dangerous.
Oh, I'm not very sociable. I don't usually interact with people. Not the kind of dwarf that goes around asking questions and prying into people's affairs.
That's literally exactly what you're doing right now.
Just trying to pass time.
Okay. You get a load of this guy, Faron? I mean, come on.
Baron's
Very
just
rarely
like
you meet nice people on the road. You were saying, big guy?
Baron's just like checking the cart, making sure everything's like strapped down, getting it ready to like start moving. So
Yeah, you see the hand of a body sticking. No, I'm kidding.
Grabs your ankle.
There it is. I see it. See there? That smoke? Yeah, it's coming from Melody's farm. Giddy up, boys. We're almost there.
Pushing the cart along. Is it a normal amount of smoke you might expect to see from a house, or is it a
it's totally
wildfire amount?
No, it's totally normal. You eventually will pull up at this very quaint, very nice little cottage with a little barn and
Reminds me of home.
yeah, a little garden area. Place looks like it's a little run down, maybe like it's seen some better days, but looks very nice. The rain is still coming down a little bit, but it's starting to lessen, and there's at least a little break in the clouds, and there's a little bit of sunlight that's sort of filtering down. As you are coming up the road, this woman comes out of the house. She's got her sleeves rolled up, and she's got a bit of a leather apron, and she's wiping her hands on the rag. She looks like a slightly older woman. She's got a little bit of gray in her hair. She looks up the road, kind of, a little suspiciously, sort of checking who's coming about. And she yells out, "Svior, is that you?" "Yeah, ran into a bit of trouble, but these very nice, very kind, tight-lipped strangers here were kind enough to help me. I said probably they could use your hospitality, seeing as how they helped me. They prevented me becoming food for the wolves out there. Wolves out here? Well, I haven't seen hide nor hair of any of them. You sure that you're not just drunk again, Svior?" "Well, this is the result of me getting drunk. I'm definitely quitting drinking this time, and this time I mean it. Got this busted leg here." It's like, "Oh my dear," and she comes over and she, checks him out. She's like, "Oh, you're a frightful mess, and all of you too. You're all wet and damp. Please, come on in. Yeah, help him. And do you want to push his cart over into the barn there so that it doesn't keep getting rained on? And then come on in and take your boots off on the porch if you would. They're filthy with mud."
I'll help with the cart to the barn.
Aelwind is gonna try to keep a little bit of distance between her and these two normal folk, just because she's aware that there seems to be some kind of a radiating thing off of this circlet, and she doesn't want them to get a weird vibe or, get affected by it if possible.
Okay, are you going to bring it in the house, or are you going to do?
She's just gonna kind of like fall back and she's definitely going to help with the wagon because that's gonna take a little while to get in. But when if we all go inside, she's gonna try to remove herself by like at least 10-20 feet, if possible.
All right, not a problem. Elodie is human, by the way, just for your information. So whoever's going to the barn, when you get there, you can easily open the door and push the wagon in. There's probably like a couple of milk cows in there and a few goats and some chickens, and they're all kind of just, hanging in there, staying out of the rain sort of thing. There's an old dog that's kind of...
Lan's kind of judging. She's like, I wouldn't make a chicken coop like that, but,
It looks kind of cozy. I will say, to your practice eye, it looks like maybe there used to be more animals, a bit of a bigger garden kind of thing, but like it's been reduced in size a little bit for whatever reason.
And does Aelwind share her concern with me about like the object? And no, okay. This place has seen better days, that's for sure. Can I see if there's anything being hidden in this barn?
Yeah, do an investigation.
Since I know that barns are good places to hide things.
To hide zombies and such, yeah, go.
I mean, I would definitely look to make sure there's no people hiding in the
barn.
So
do an investigation with advantage since you're two.
Oh, I don't need advantage. I got a 22, but I'll roll it again
Yeah.
just in case I get a nat 20. I did not.
All right. You do not find people hiding. You do not find anything suspicious. There's some store. There's like, goods that have been prepared for the winter and things of that nature. Tools, whatever. But there's really nothing that sort of sets off your spidey sense or anything.
Well,
Inside
Yeah.
the house, sorry.
go for it.
Inside the house, you have brought in Svior and you've installed him. And there's like a big sort of captain's chair there, and you kind of install him in that. And Elodie brings a stool, and you put his leg up, and she's like, "Oh, you made a dreadful mess out of that. All right, let's fix this." And she starts directing you, "Go there, get me these things." And so within a few moments or a few minutes, you've kind of brought her some stuff. So inside the house, you notice that it's a house that's set up for 2 people. But again, it looks like I was saying, like there's certain things that have kind of been condemned or sort of moved out of the way kind of thing. And you bring in, she fixes his splint and whatnot, and kind of bandages the rest of his wounds. And eventually, as that's kind of getting sorted, Lan and Elwyn will come back in, and she'll keep giving you orders like, the kettle's over there, boil some water, there's tea in there are biscuits over there. And it's not too long before you're kind of drying out, sitting around the table around the tiny living room. It's kind of like a 1-room thing. There's a couple benches and chairs. You've eaten, you've had some tea. She's giving you got the pipes out, you're smoking, you're drying your boots out in front of the fire. For the first time in at least since a couple of days ago, perhaps since the first day that you left, you really kind of feel comfortable and like you're getting some rest and you feel sort of safe. You will, as you're chit-chatting, you'll find out that they've known each other for a long time. He has stopped here on occasion during his travels. You will find out that Elodie had a husband, Rovan, who died the winter before. And since then, she's been alone. Kind of pick up like maybe there's like a little something going on, it's between her and Svior, but they're both really kind of like almost unaware of it sort of themselves, but they're very, very accustomed to each other and very kind to each other, and very comfortable around each other, and you kind of get a very sort of nice little domesticated scene.
Like Carlo and my mom.
That's right. Do you want to ask any questions about the area or anything, or are you just going to sort of enjoy the evening? You will all have a place to stay. A couple will have to sleep in the barn, but a few people can sleep in the house. And she'll give you some food and all that. Is there anything you're going to ask about, or are you going to just keep mum? They're not going to really pry. Like, they're going to ask where you're going, but they're not going to pry. So if you don't want to talk about anything, you don't have to, but just want to see if you want to.
Yeah, I'll stick to my story about we're tracking dangerous criminals.
Yeah, we could ask about the tavern, right? Because we know it's pretty seedy. Maybe if they know anything about it.
You ask about.
I don't know if,
we don't have to. We could. Maybe it's I heard.
Like open-ended, do you know of any places around here that criminals types hang out since you've traveled so much?
Elodie will be a little concerned when you mention that you're running after bandits. Are there bandits around? She'll ask you some questions about it, but it's clear that she's lived out here all her life, and she's concerned, but not sort of overly so. At some point, I guess someone will say, well, whatever you do, make sure you avoid. About another 2 days walk from here, you'll come across kind of shady looking inn. You kind of want to avoid going there. If you find an old decrepit inn under the shadow of Weathertop, just walk on by. You want no part of that place.
Why? What goes on there?
It's kind of a known meeting point for people of ill repute. Not people like you, fine folk. You know, the more underbelly kind of citizens. You know.
Sort of like a
Noted.
hive for scum and villainy.
That's exactly how I would describe it. You're very poetic, sir. But yeah, so they'll tell you just, kind of stay away from it. Otherwise, you'll pick up little rumors. Like they'll say that, like if you mentioned the wolves, Elodie, who lives out here, will certainly say that she's kind of felt like things are changing a little bit. Like there's a lot less game that there used to be. She does hear wolves howling at night kind of thing. She occasionally will see like strange shapes and stuff moving through the forest, and just generally feel like there's something happening or something sort of changing, something on the wind, like the wind's turning and perhaps not in the best of directions kind of thing. And they're both kind of very, it's just the way it is, like, sort of thing. But they do talk a bit about how they feel like the shadows are lengthening.
Are we anywhere near the area where one of the merchants who'd left Bree in the previous session had said that there had been orc sightings in the woods?
No,
or
so that would have
the
been
troll sighting.
That would have been over to the northwest of Bree. Is in the Old Forest, which is in the Shire, which is west of Bree. And if you want to hear more about that particular encounter, folks, go and watch our Lord of the Rings charity stream from a couple of weeks ago, where the hobbits encountered a bunch of orcs in the Old Forest. But yeah, so
I hear the hobbits have the best pipe weed as well.
Oh, they do. I have some. I picked some up on my way through. Would you like some?
Absolutely, I would. I'm a bit of a connoisseur, you could say.
Oh, are you? All right, well, go back out to my thing. He tells you where to go in his cart, and you'll find like a hidden box, like somewhere that's like in this weather resistant. He's got like Tupperware. He's got dwarven Tupperware.
All right, he won me over.
And yeah, he'll share some long leaf with you or whatever it is.
I want to try to make like a mountain out of the smoke.
So you try to make a mountain, and it sort of comes out like a little heart that breaks.
No, I'm very good at it though. Oh, now it's breaking. Oh, geez, I start choking up a little.
Anything else you want to talk about, or ask them about, or do, or you want to just get your rest and?
Like after we're kind of done with our trying to get information out of them, I'll try to steer the conversation to Rivendell to get that guy to start talking about how great Rivendell is. And then, excuse myself to go sleep in the bar.
Not a problem. He will.
I think
totally
I would sleep in the barn too, because like I think Lan wants like that adventure experience. And like sleeping in a bed doesn't feel adventurous.
I just, like the real reason I want to sleep in the barn is because I don't want these nice people to get their throats slit as they were trying to find her. So she's trying to remove herself.
The Faron and Calumden will sleep in the house, and there will be you will be able to find some. There's like a little sort of sofa thing, and then there's like a spare bed that someone can have, and you'll spend a good night. Good enough, in fact, that you would normally get a shadow point or have to defend against a shadow point, but you don't. When you wake up the next morning, you still feel that presence. You still feel that encroaching darkness that's coming in, kind of like you're living in a picture that's got a vignette around it. But given the the place and the kindness of the people here, you don't get the shadow point. In the morning, when you wake up, when you come down, Calorum and Faron, you'll find Zvior sort of already up, sitting at the kitchen table, smoking a pipe. He'll be like, "Well, suppose you'll be heading out, but I wanted to thank you for stopping and helping me. Not a lot of people would stop and help, or at least would stop and rob me or something, but proven to be good people, and you don't want to talk about exactly what's going on, and that's fine. I respect that, but I certainly appreciate you saving my life. Let's not mince words here. I think you would have I would have been probably a goner if you hadn't come by and helped me out, and I certainly appreciate that. Would you go with that bag I had you bring in? One of you get that for me, please. I still can't move with this damn leg.
Sure. Grab the bag and bring it over.
He'll open it up, and from it, he will pull this what looks like a sword that is wrapped in cloth, and he'll pull it out, and he'll say, "I was bringing this as a present to my friend. I'm getting kind of old, and it's getting harder to make the trip out to Rivendell, and it's really just everything I can do now to get out there before the winter sets in. And now I'm probably not even going to get there this year. I'm probably going to have to stay out here for a bit. And well, I mean it. I'm grateful for you having shown an old dwarf some kindness. And well, I'd like you to have this. I don't know which one of you can put this to its best use, but I'm sure you'll find a way to use it." And he'll unwrap it, and it will pull out this beautiful but ancient-looking sword. You can tell that it's of Numenorian design and make as he pulls it out. And like all their weapons, you can see the quality, even though it doesn't have a lot of engravings and gems and things like that. It's just a beautiful, well-made, very practical, very useful sort of sword. And it's got, where the hilt is kind of like, almost kind of like a crescent sun, and it's got like rays that sort of go up and get lost. When he moves it in the light, you can kind of see like golden rays of light that sort of get lost in the blade as they travel along it. So they call it Ghost of the Morning. I got this a long time ago. In fact, as my dad got it, and we've had it in our family for a while. And I said I was going to give it to my friend in Elduin in Rivendell, but I'd really be I really like it if one of you would take it, please.
Are you sure? Do you have any other weapons for when you go on the road?
Oh yeah, I'm more of a, and he points to his axe. I'm more of an axe filler myself.
Yeah,
I just
same.
look, if something's fighting me, I just look at it and I'm like, look, big tree, chop it down, it's all done.
Lan grabs the sword immediately and is like, "Oh my god!" And then it's too heavy, and she kind of like almost drops it. She's like, "Oh," and then she slowly hands it back to Callum.
This is
Right.
a lordly
Cool sword.
gift. We are most grateful. And she'll take the sword and then immediately hand it to Faron.
So I pass it to Carlum, and then Aelwyn takes it and then passes it to Farron. Just like hold it down the line.
They say these swords were forged by Numenorians for their bitter wars against Karn Doom in the land of Angmar. I'm sure there's still a little bit of that old magic left in it.
Yeah. Not it, guys.
Farron would take it at this point, but just out of like politeness, like he's uncomfortable with it because he's not used to like people giving him stuff. So, and like showing kindness in this way. So
Yeah, Aelwyn will just like pat Faron on the back and be like, you can hold on to that for a while.
When you pick it up, you feel warmth that goes through it, and all of you, if you're standing near him when he picks it up, you feel a bit of that warmth sort of washing over you. The sword's magic, when you hold it, when it's drawn, creates an aura that's 10-foot radius around you. And whenever you are a friendly creature in the aura have to make a saving throw during combat, you gain a bonus equal to your charisma modifier.
Too bad we all have no charisma.
So my bonus of -1, does it go the negative
you
way?
have to use the
No, you don't get the negative, so then you
Okay. It just zeroes out.
just get yourself some charisma.
Yeah.
It's also a +1 to hit and damage and has Orc Bane.
Ooh.
I can see that looks pretty good in your hand there.
Thank you. I will make sure it's used well.
And no
well
doubt
cared
you
for.
will. At that moment, Elodie comes down and says, "You could have made them breakfast. I was busy giving them swords, you know."
He did make us breakfast, and I'm puffing on the pipe weed.
Like, well, I'll see to that, but since we're in a gift-giving mood, I wanted to thank you for helping out this crotchety old bugger. Kind of means the world to me, and I really appreciate you taking the time to help him out, and you've all been very kind people. I looked through some of my old stuff, and I found these old scarves that I made a while back, and I made them to sell at the market, but those were some that were sort of left behind, and I thought maybe you could use them if you're going to be out on the road. And she comes over and she hands each of you a scarf. Josh, she hands you one that is ochre, and it's got a gray mountain stitched into the design of it. Rachel, she hands you one that is gray with a golden trim and has a mockingjay embroidered in it. Alex, you get one that is blue, and there is a wooden crown, what appears to be like a wooden crown that is the word I just used in it. And
Embroidered.
yeah, and Ashley, you get one that is green and silver, and it has a silver fox embroidered in it. Thought these would help keep you warm out on the road. And I also prepared last night some of my golden apple cider for y'all to take with you, and she will give each of you a skin full of cider. The cider will refresh 2d4 plus 4 hit points and erase a shadow point when you drink it.
How much was the potion, Bleak?
2d4 plus 4.
+4.
Yeah. And the scarves will give you an advantage to resist cold. Well, I assume you'll want to be on your way. If you'll just give me a few moments, I'll make some provisions for you to take with you, and make sure that you're at least well fed to get back out on that road. Zero says, and next time I'm in Bree, I'll stop by and ask for y'all, and well, if ever you make it out to Rivendell, look for my buddy there, and say hi for me. Don't know if I'm going to be able to make it again, but tell him I'll try again in a couple years. I'm not too old, and if this wound doesn't pin me here, kind of get the feeling he'd like it to be pinned here. But
Just make sure you don't leave here until that wound is healed properly. Otherwise, you won't be traveling very far again.
don't worry, I'm going to be watching him. I'm not going to let that old fool out on his bad leg.
Good.
And, you know, if things ever get too terrible around here, you could always visit Rivendell.
Ah, Rivendell. Did I ever tell you about the beautiful promenade they have over it? He goes off again, and as he's reminiscing, you slip out the door, well fed, warm and dry, and hit the road once more with new scarves. Yeah, they clash a bit with your clothes, but they're very warm, very nice. As you hit the road again, go ahead and Mr. Scout.
On the road again.
Just can't wait to get on the road again.
Faron, where are we
trying-
going?
I kept trying to see if I could like kindle a romance between the two of them. Like, why
Oh,
don't you
they're
visit
get
Rivendell
the
together?
feeling that it was there. There was something. There was a little something.
There was a little smoke, but you know,
Uh,
want to kindle
there
fire.
was some
This,
kindling.
one, this one's going to be a 13.
All right, it's getting rough out here. As you set off on the road, you find yourselves very quickly sort of losing a little bit of the good spirits that had been infused into you in this place as the rain just keeps coming down, and by early afternoon, the rain starts to change into snow as little snowflakes start to come out of the skies. Very gentle little snowflakes, and the wind turns in from the north and becomes quite bitter cold, and you're very, very happy for these scarves all of a sudden as you pull them up close and try to hide your ears in them. At one point, you are walking down a bit of a valley, and you can see that the trees here, what remains of the foliage is orange and yellow and red, you know, the colors of fall, but most of the leaves have fallen down, and there's this thick mulchy carpet of color on the ground, but the branches are kind of very bare here, except there's one tree that is very full, but it's very strange because it's full of just these pitch black leaves that are just moving in the wind. And it's this really odd sight, this one tree just covered in these pitch black leaves amidst all those other trees around there. And as you sort of keep walking the road and sort of marvel at that weird tree, suddenly you hear kind of like a very dull kind of woomph, like a sort of sound of wind, and the wind turns and there's this gust of really cold wind that blows in, and snow just whips at your face, and you see the tree explodes, and you realize that those were not leaves, they were hundreds of black crows that suddenly, in a loud cacophonous craw, just explode off this tree, fly off and gather together and fly down low and are coming right towards you. And just as you see this huge wave of black crows just coming towards you and cawing for all they're worth, and you dive to the ground, these things just fly above you. And as they do, you feel their shadow almost physically gliding and passing over you. And these birds fly off towards the east.
That was weird.
Everyone, please make a wisdom saving throw.
We're so good at those.
Remember, you have some advantages.
12.
18.
16.
23.
Wow.
So everyone except Josh gets one shadow point. Josh, you get 2. As you feel this sense of dread and doom that just fills you. These birds were not natural. They were not normal. And as they flew above you, you could almost feel like something was watching you through them. Something through their shadow was measuring you and taking stock of you and noticing you. And then the birds flew off, but that feeling of having been seen and having been noticed by something dark and dangerous stays with you.
Something
Chills you to
dark
the bone.
follows us now.
Lan's feeling pretty shaken. She's like, all of this travel and turmoil and seeing her friend, she's really not doing great. And I am approaching miserable. but not quite.
You can clearly see on her face that she's not having any fun. And both you and Aelwind will feel, you hear an Aelwind in your bag, wherever that circlet is, you will kind of feel that it weighs more than it used to. Like it's physically like a couple of pounds heavier almost, like it just drags down on you.
I feel as though the circlet does not want us to continue.
Either
Burden.
the circlet or something else.
Well, the burden grows heavier.
I can
You need
take it
to-
if you want.
Yeah.
I don't believe that it would be wise to have anyone else touch it. It affected Lan quite badly when she handed it to me.
Yeah, that thing sucks.
There are certain gifts that elves possess that make them resilient against darkness and dark things. I will be alright for now.
As long as you're sure.
I can continue. I just want you to know that something has seen us, and the darkness fights our path.
As long as they've seen us. Hopefully that means that they have not seen Kel.
And, you know, they perhaps do not know which of us is carrying this burden. How much
I feel
further
it.
to this Forsaken Inn?
I think it's just one more day at this point.
Ugh, so far.
You continue walking the rest of the day. Unfortunately, the scouting roll this time wasn't quite as effective as it's been on the other nights. You find yourselves having to sleep out that night and a little bit on the rough. You don't find really appropriate shelter, and as you try to keep a fire going, the wind and the rain and the snow just sort of keep putting it out. And throughout the night, whoever's keeping watch, you kind of feel there's always someone around or something moving out in the shadows, and a lot of you don't get really a really solid rest. When you wake up in the morning, you're all covered in a little bit of frost and snow, which you break and sort of shake off, and roll up your camp and try to eat some food, and still feeling that kind of weight upon you. And now it's really the snow has really started to sort of come down. You set off on the road again. Eventually, about half day, you will spot ahead of you a very narrow river, very anemic, that just trickles on by with a little bit of a bridge across it. The forest here, the trees are completely devoid of all foliage and, thankfully, crows. Over yonder, up on the north, you see far away in the mist the swell of these mountains, and you can see the outline of this ruined tower, and you know this is Weathertop, a series of towers that had been built during the last war, that goes all the way up to the north and continues all the way down the south on the other side. And you can see the one called Weathertop, and as you're sort of approaching, walking by on the road, you think you see something like a light or something, a weird sort of greenish light kind of glinting from the top of it, but when you look again, it's not there, but it's very hard to see with the mist. Eventually, you arrive at a fork in the road, and right where that fork is, there's this old, gnarled, twisted, dead tree. The roots at the bottom are kind of twisted and almost make it look like a face with eyes and a mouth that sort of glare at you, and the tree itself is all old and dried out and broken, and the bark is kind of rotten, and next to it there's a little path that goes up into the mist, and up through that mist and through the dead trees, you can see what appears to be an old building, derelict, fallen apart. Like you would think that it's probably a ruin or empty, but you see smoke coming out of the chimney, and you see a few horses outside attached to a post. Behind it, there is an old mill that has completely broken, but the wheel is still turning. The windmill is still turning and creaking, and that creaking just sort of echoes at you through these trees. And as you approach, you can see through the windows light inside, and you can hear noise. But when you approach the prancing pony, you see this warm light, you hear people laughing, people singing. But here there's just this kind of weird drone and like these kind of cold voices that are kind of speaking in low tones. And even though you do see there's fire and lamps inside, it looks way gloomier inside than it would be outside. And you know you have reached the Forsaken Inn. Before you travel further, having now traveled for several days, I will ask you to make a con check. Now, before you make a con check, your DC is 10, and because you spent 1 day on the rough, there was one time when the scout roll failed, that's a +1. So your DC is 11. If you would then make me a Constitution check. If you want to use a advantage, you can. Just let me know. So you're looking for 11.
18.
13.
16.
19.
All right.
Hey.
So
Look at
no
us.
one gets an exhaustion, which is good. Just looking at this inn, you kind of feel that weight and that sort of darkness of the shadow that's kind of been following you and hounding your heels. And you can tell that this is a place where shadow thrives, where shadow exists. What would you like to do?
It surprises
we
me that anyone would choose to go here. Looks
Came this
abandoned.
way. So there's obviously people inside.
After
Mm.
you?
Yeah. I mean,
Sure.
we're here for a reason, so
Yeah, might as well.
I can't imagine that this is a place that, sorry, I forgot it. Arundel would
Arianth.
would frequent.
Arianth.
Arianth.
I will say this place does look kind of fun. Like I feel like if I wanted to like fight somebody for fun, this is where I would come. You know what I mean? Like I bet there's the liquor here probably tastes crazy.
I don't think this is really a place that you'd come to fight somebody for fun necessarily. Maybe to the death.
Well, we can agree to disagree, boss man.
Okay. But Faron, would you like to lead the way?
Sure. So start heading up towards the door. Would I have stayed here before by chance?
No, you would
Or-
never stayed here. Like you would
Okay.
probably have always tried to avoid it. It's just not not kosher.
Yeah.
There's just nothing good about staying here.
Lan's low-key excited to see what's inside.
Kind of place you ask for a wake up call and you get shivved in the morning in your bed. You know?
You asked for a wake-up call, you didn't specify how.
Exactly.
Had an epiphany. Woken up.
As you approach the inn, the door opens and two men come out, and they look like what you would expect. They're human, but they look kind of greasy. They got long beards. They got these sort of floppy hats with the leather things coming on the side. They got clear weapons. One's got an axe. One's got a sword. Dirty, scarred leathers. They got travelers' packs and cloaks on their backs. They come out and, they kind of eye the lot of you as they go by. go ahead and give me a you can choose to roll, if you wish, intimidation, or you can simply give me we'll call it a wisdom check, a wisdom save. You only need, I rolled pretty terrible, so you only need to get over 10.
Not a surprise to anyone, but Lan has a 0 in intimidation.
I rolled a wisdom save and got an 18.
Yeah.
I did the wisdom save and got a 16.
Wisdom
13.
save 18.
All right.
Wisdom
So as
save.
you come out, they give you that stink eye, and you can kind of tell that it's that thing where if you show it any sort of weakness or hesitation, they would probably kind of like peg you for, marks and probably try to pull something, but all of you are pretty steely-eyed and kind of solid, so they just kind of give you the glare, and when they see you don't flinch, they kind of just sneer, and one of them spits on the ground, and then the two of them set off walking. Before you ask, none of them have marks on their cheeks other than just regular scars, probably. And they set off towards the road and then keep heading east, in fact.
I'm going to keep a good eye on my bag to make sure that, like, nobody pickpockets me in this area.
You open the door and walk into the sorriest, darkest, dankest, most insalubrious inn you've ever
Ooh,
had in your life.
10-cent word there, Bleak. It's good.
I should be an English teacher. You see that there's a fire in the fireplace that's kind of struggling. There's a smell, that smell of old burnt grease. It's kind of pervading the area. There's a smell of, sweat, smell of grime, smell of barely repressed hostility. The people, and they are humans mostly, perhaps a couple dwarves, are all kind of dark mean and just sort of sitting at tables, hunched over their drinks, just talking in low tones. They all look like just bad deals, all of them. Spitting on the ground. The ground is covered in these dirty rushes. There's 4 or 5 old dogs just sort of sleeping everywhere. There's definitely that sort of smell of dog urine and dog hair and the whole 9 yards. And behind the bar, there's this old, crooked-faced guy, missing a couple teeth with this sort of long ponytail but nothing on top. And he just looks kind of dirty and greasy. And he's got this dirty-ass rag, and he's cleaning the glasses, the mugs with it, and when you come in, he kind of eyeballs you. And there's just this sense of, like, this miasmic feeling of bad just hanging here. Everyone's got a bad attitude. Everything smells bad. Everything's dirty and dark. But what disturbs you the most is that you get the clear feeling that they are happy and comfortable here. They love this place. This place speaks to them. They are home here. And you've never, even those of you who have traveled, I would say, I've never encountered such a place of just pure, like, all these feelings of shadows you've had. Like, this place is just that. Like, it's just... Give me a perception check.
Oh, got it.
Natural 20, 21.
Nice.
Hey!
24.
I literally got a 3. So.
16.
All right, so Lan is way too, like, what the fuck is this place to know this much.
Lan is just really stuck on the dirty rag cleaning the glasses, because it's just like, that's making it worse.
And he cleans it with it, and then he's like
Smearing it around.
Yeah, it's making him even dirtier.
blows his nose in it, and then just keeps cleaning.
Oh God.
So the more experienced one of the bunch, then you get definitely the feeling that no one's staring at you, but you know everyone's kind of sizing you up. Everyone's taking your measure, everyone's checking you out, everyone's evaluating if you might have anything of worth on you. Just, kind of really scoping you out. You kind of get the feeling that these items you're carrying probably in some ways are working in your favor, in that these people are probably reacting to this sort of strange shadow you're carrying with you, and are probably kind of feeling, okay, these guys are like, kind of with us. But you also notice the three of you in the far corner, and that told that image from Lord of the Rings with Aragorn, sitting in the inn, like someone sitting in a far corner with the hood sort of pulled low, an untouched drink in front of them, definitely looking like they don't belong here. Notices you, and the hood sort of comes up and kind of looks in your direction. It's hard to see inside, it's dark, but it's definitely someone who's taking notice of you. It's definitely someone that doesn't sort of fit in here, but you can tell that people have given this person a bit of a berth, as there's no one sitting right next to them.
Yeah, Aelwyn notices, and she'll kind of like nod her head at them.
She'll reach out with a foot and push one of the stools at the table, sort of indicating.
She'll go on over.
What does everyone do? So Aelwyn is going over to the table. What are the rest of you doing?
I follow her like a guard dog. Like what, literally in step right behind her.
Are you my Samwise Gamgee?
No, I feel like I'm more your like puppy that you're training.
The same thing.
No, you're very experienced. I don't think Frodo was.
No, he was not.
And what about Faron and Colin?
I'm gonna pull my hood up so I'm like as dark and mysterious as the people in here, spit out the door and walk in and act like I've got a peg leg.
Oh my God, please make him roll for the peg leg.
Performance.
I want this to fail so bad.
I just assume it fails. No, fine. You do it. You do it. You're not sure if it's working or not. Like, we'll see. And what about Faron?
Faron would go in and then go up to like the bartender and order drinks to bring over. So,
what kind of drink would you like?
beer.
We got piss warm watered down beer, and we've got piss warm watered down beer. Which one would you like?
Pick the latter.
Wise choice. And he'll pull out a bunch of dirty ass mugs, cracked and chipped, and start pouring this beer that just doesn't look good. Smells bad, the whole 9 yards. But hey, it's beer. It's American beer, probably. Coors Light. As you get those beers, you kind of get a sense that there's something happening. Like you can, like he shoots a look at someone and someone shoots a look at someone, and you kind of get the energy kind of shifts in the room. And as the others are approaching the table, the person leans forward, and now you can see inside the hood, and you see a little glint of a golden braid, and you can clearly see that it's an elven woman. And she's like, well, you're not who I was expecting, but I guess that's probably good, as there's 4 of you.
I would not have expected you to be in a place like this.
Well, needs must. Tell me, And she pulls down her hood, and you see her for the first time. She is an elven woman. She has shaved hair and a long golden braid, kind of a steely look in her eye. Are you ready for a fight? And on that note, we will end tonight's session.
Is she the one fighting us?
I know, I was gonna say with or against.
Lan's
Who
like, yeah,
knows?
that's what I came here for.
Who knows? Well, was my accent okay there, Josh?
Top-notch London accent there.
Thank you. Hey, Van City, thanks for joining us. And then with that, we are done for tonight. This second episode of, as opposed to what our overlay says, The Curse of Sorrow, which, you know, we'll get around to fixing that. Thanks so much for hanging out. I would like to give my friends here, my wonderful, wonderful, talented friends here, an opportunity to tell us a little bit about themselves. If there's anything else you got going on, any new projects, anything going on you'd like people to check out, please feel free to let us know. We will go by the order that I originally established on the production sheet, now that I have the correct production sheet. And we'll start with Josh. Josh, what's up? Tell us about yourself. What's going on?
Hello, I'm Josh. I hope everybody's doing okay. Every time that we finish playing one of these sessions, I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go watch Lord of the Rings again. So thank you for having me. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Devon Knight or at Devon Knight 225, one of the two. And you can find me here for the next few weeks. That's about it at the minute. I'm not anywhere else at the moment.
Keeping low profile.
Yes.
Very wise of you. Thank you so much, Josh, for getting time to come out and play with us. It's super late where you are too, so appreciate you popping the coffee and whatever, you know, horse racing pill you're taking. And
energy drinks. It's just I've just got
you get to
a
go
drip
sleep
here
after
with.
this, or are you like awake for like an hour?
Sorry,
Do you get to fall asleep after this, or are you like?
I'll go to sleep and then I'll get woken up in about an hour for the children to get up. So
Man, well, you know, it's a young man's game, so thankfully not an old goat like me still got the drive. Thank you so much for making the time to come out and playing with us. Arya, you're next on the chopping block. What's up?
Hey everybody, I'm Arya Galaxy. You can find me on Twitter at Carollo_Rachel or on Instagram. I've done quite a lot of games here with the guild, including this game, which, since we can't decide on the title, I would like to propose Kel's No Good, Very Bad Day. And yeah, I've been doing a lot of stuff with the guild. I took a brief hiatus, but I'm back for the summer, hoping to do a few more projects and fun stuff with some people that have been on the channel. So stay tuned. And thanks so much for having me. I hope everyone is liking LAN, and we would love to hear your thoughts in the comments of all of our fun characters. So
Absolutely.
thanks
Cool.
so much for having me.
Pleasure as always. Thank you so much for playing with us. Love LAN. LAN's great. I just picture LAN short, so we're just gonna have to deal with that. Alex,
That's just because I'm short.
maybe, but I mean, I've always seen you sitting down in this. I don't actually really.
You're
know
the
that.
same height as the rest of us.
Yeah, here. In fact, I'm the shortest in my screen. I'm like shorter than everybody else. Alex, we got a fine Numenorian sword tonight.
Thank you.
What's up?
Yeah. So, Alex, I'm playing Faron. Appreciate everyone kind of hanging out with us tonight. You can find me on Discord. I hang out here and also on the Live from the Apocalypse server. Don't really do very much other social media stuff. So this is my first time being on here, and I really appreciate it, having fun. So thank you.
Cool. Thanks so much for coming out and playing with us. Yes, and Live from the Apocalypse, great channel. Also, you should check them out, give them a follow. If you like what we're doing, you like what they're doing. Awesome folks out there doing some great stuff. So thank you, Alex, for being here with us. And last but certainly not least, the Minnesota Muse herself, Ashley.
Hey everybody, I'm Ashley, Minnesota Muse on Twitter, and if you liked what I played today, come back on Tuesday for something totally different, where I play a troublemaking, cutesy changeling character. So if you want more comedy, I'd recommend that one. This is serious business. Otherwise, find us on the Discord, or find us on our Facebook page. Just come on by and like press that like button. Join up.
Do join up. We got cookies. It's the truth. Thanks so much, Ashley, for playing with us. And as Ashley mentioned, we'll be here Tuesday, but we have a pretty heavy week actually, as we will also have a game on Sunday, Pirate Borg, that we'll be playing on here. If you know Mark Bjorg, it's in the same world except with pirates, so it's just like even darker and weirder and more insane. So that's Pirate Borg here at 8 Eastern, 7 CT, 8 Eastern on Sunday. On Tuesday, as Ashley was mentioning, we will be playing our Heroes of Greyhawk with DM Dave, and Andy, our producer here tonight, is also playing a game, and the wonderful Shelly, and we have a good time goofing off and just trying to not get lost in the swamp. And on Wednesday, we're gonna have the first of a 2-part Witcher game that I'll be running, again with some wonderful players. And so if you want to see what that's all about, we're using the CD Projekt Red, not CD Projekt Red, sorry, the R. Talsorian rule set for The Witcher. And yes, Captain Rouge, who's in the chat right now, is in the game. And the best part about it is that no one made a Witcher. So we'll see how that fucking turns out when they start meeting monsters. But it's gonna be a lot of fun, great players. And then next Thursday we'll be back here with part 3 of 4 of The Curse of Kelsaro. I am the Bleakseason. I would like to thank Andy, my producer. I'd like to thank my wonderful players, everyone in the chat, the raids we got from Queen's Court Gaming, everyone who hung out with us. We super appreciate you. We'll be back next week. We are going to raid into our good friend, Darling Creepshow. So please stick around, give Darling some of our love in the chat. And we will see you next week for the third part of this game. See what happens at the Forsaken. Thank you so much. We're going to let Josh go to bed. Catch you next week.